Hello, football fans, and welcome to the Press Box. I'm Timmy, and I'm here to answer the call. It is Thursday, November 7th, and we got a big matchup today. We're going to be going over the Thursday Night Football, talking about some key games. I'll give you my predictions of those games. Tell you a little which players might have some fantasy impact the most tonight. All that and more on Answer the Call podcast. Sit down, relax. It's going to be a good one, guys. We have first call, and first call we're going to do a little Thursday night preview. Thursday night preview between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. Division rivals, AFC North division rivals, guys. This could be a good one. So I'm looking forward to it. Some Thursdays are kind of iffy, but this one should have all the makings of a great game. Division rival, division games, people tend to play a little harder. Anything can happen tonight. Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson. They're pretty even. They're pretty even in terms of scoring and offense and stuff like that. But the slight edge is to the Ravens. Bengals are scoring 26.2 points a game and allowing their opponents 25.2. Meanwhile, the Ravens are scoring 31.4 and only allowing their opponents 24.3. So, a little passing yards. Now, this is a slight edge. A slight edge to the Ravens, to Lamar, and what he averages. 236.3 for the Bengals. They allow 212.4. The Ravens are passing 244, but allowing 280. So Joe Burrow might have a game tonight, guys. Joe Burrow could have a game. Passing touchdowns. The Cincinnati Bengals have 20, have allowed 13. Ravens have 20, have allowed 18. So that secondary is kind of weak. That secondary is kind of weak. The Bengals have 4 interceptions thrown. Their opponents have 6. So the Bengals defense has created 6 turnovers. The Ravens have only thrown 2. So Lamar Jackson has only thrown 2 interceptions. And the Ravens defense has 6. So the secondaries might match up a little bit. It might match up just a little bit there. So where it gets interesting, though, is the run game. The run game is where this gets interesting. The Bengals are only running for 94.2 while allowing 130.4. Meanwhile, the Ravens are rushing for 191.9, so 192 yards a game, and only allowing 75.7 yards rushing per game. Rushing touchdowns, the Bengals have 7, have allowed 12. Meanwhile, the Ravens have scored 13 and have only allowed 6. So, total yards per game is definitely in the Ravens' favor. The Bengals have 343.6 while allowing 353.8. The Ravens are getting 456.3 while allowing 377.7. So on paper, matchup tends to go to the Ravens on this one, that run game. It's a home game for the Ravens. A few weeks back, the game was in Cincinnati, and that was a great one. Actually went into overtime. Ravens are home for this one. They already beat the Bengals in Cincy in overtime game earlier this year. Ravens have some new weapons on the offense. They got Dante Johnson. Now he's had a full week of practice. I fully expect him, guys, to be involved in this offense. I don't know. Maybe he gets involved tonight. But definitely moving forward, Dante Johnson's gonna be there. Maybe the Ravens turn to an air raid team and save Derrick Henry for the playoffs. It'll be interesting. They also added a veteran corner at the deadline on Tuesday. They got Tre'Davious White. I'm not sure how much he plays today, given that he's probably just got to Baltimore Tuesday and only had yesterday to really kind of go through the playbook. But I mean, at the same time, it's a corner. He's either playing man or zone, and not really doesn't really have to no, unless they decide to blitz. But so it's a man zone or blitz for him, is how I see it. The Ravens just have the best. The Ravens might just have the best offense in the league, guys. They might. I mean, it is. It would not. It would not shock me, if at the end of the year, Lamar Jackson's leading the league in passing, Derrick Henry's leading the league in rushing. Would not surprise me at all. King Henry and Prince Lamar. That's what I call him, guys. King Henry. Derrick Henry's got that name, King Henry, over the years. Well, I've nicknamed Lamar Jackson Prince Lamar. So you got King Henry and Prince Lamar. All hail King Henry. All hail King Henry. But King Henry and Prince Lamar are probably the best 1-2 punch in the NFL, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you got the big physical attack from Derrick Henry, and then you got the quickness from Lamar Jackson. And it's crazy because usually 1-2 comes from, two running backs. Look at Detroit, with Sonic and Knuckles. David Montgomery is, Knuckles, and Jahmyr Gibbs is Sonic. But in this one, they kind of have their own, like, Sonic and Knuckles, and Sonic is Lamar Jackson. So I like this little duo. It's exciting to watch. It's real hard to defend, so I'm sure it keeps defensive coordinators up at night. But because you stack the box with big bodies, and Lamar's going to run it for 70 yards, and you bring your quick guy to kind of contain Lamar, and he's just going to hand it to Derrick Henry, and Henry's going to plow over that little guy. So I'm sure defensive coordinators probably lose some sleep over it. I know I probably would, but Lamar has proven, though, that he is not just a running quarterback, guys. In years past, we have known Lamar to just run, 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 run. He's proven that he can be a solid passer. He's a pretty good passing quarterback this year. And that's something that I'm excited for, because now he's developed his game a little bit. And so, now he isn't just a scrambling type. I mean, obviously, when stuff goes crazy, he's going to get out of there. But, he'll stand in the pocket. He has 20 passing touchdowns, so only 2 interceptions so far this season at the halfway point. So, it could be one of those. It could be one of those, things that Lamar in the offseason was like, hey, I need to work on this. To make my team better, I need to work on my passing game. That way, in case the run's not there, I can make my throws. Now, he's still a little sporadic and misses some throws here and there, but I'm excited. I'm excited for Lamar. I'm excited for the Ravens this year. I'm not a Ravens fan, but, I'm rooting for the Ravens. I would like to see Derrick Henry get a Super Bowl ring before he retires. And the Ravens might give him that best shot. I'm not sure if Bengals will be able to stop Henry and Lamar. That's a tough duo, like I just said. Not too many people have successfully done it this season. Last time these two faced off, Lamar wasn't very accurate. He wasn't very accurate, but he did throw for 348 and 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Should be another great game between the division rivals. And in the last game, Joe Burrow had 5 touchdown passes, but still lost in overtime. So what that tells me is, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, hey, they're getting paid, but they're playing like that, they've earned their paycheck. Some quarterbacks, Dak Prescott. Yeah, I said it. He got the money, but he plays not so good. So it's really good to see, and the AFC North. I mean, the Steelers are, Steelers. If the Bengals get the win here, guys, look out, because all things are on all, it's like probably one of the most heated races, that we've seen in recent memory in the AFC North. Steelers are good. Bengals, I mean, they're coming up now. No, only 6 teams have started 0-3 and made the playoffs. So, the Bengals still have some work to do, and T. Higgins is doubtful for the game. So, probably won't have T. Higgins. So that kind of hurts that Cincinnati passing attack. But, Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase, I mean, they went to college together. They're in the NFL together. This has all the makings of a great, great game. Now, I'm not going to reveal my picks just yet. I have my pick. Steven's not able to join us again today. He's feeling a little under the weather, so we hope he's doing good and can get back to us soon. But he's not feeling good. He did send me his pick. We had a listener, hey, I saw what you did last week. I like to be a part of that, Guys, feel free. Instagram, answer the call, COLL. You can follow on YouTube at youtube.com/answerthecall, COLL. Find us on Spotify. Comment wherever. And, reach out to us, and we'll put your picks in the show. We will do that for you. And see how we stack up versus a listener. Listener gave me his pick today. I assume the rest of the picks will be coming later for tomorrow's show. I'm excited. I do have my college picks. That is right around the corner. But right now I want to talk about some of these key college games. I got to get us ready for these games, guys. So yesterday, we talked about the Bama LSU game. We also talked about Colorado Texas Tech. Those are some of the standout games. There's a lot of games, guys. Georgia Ole Miss, Minnesota at Rutgers, Clemson at Virginia Tech, Washington at Penn State. I know, it doesn't have the normal feel, but you never know. Maybe Washington can upset. Who knows? BYU at Utah. The battle in Utah. We got Oklahoma, Missouri, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. In recent years, that game wouldn't have meant anything, but this year, it's like it's like two Cinderella teams facing off. I don't look for Florida State to do anything. They're playing Notre Dame. They are playing Notre Dame, so don't look for that. Miami at Georgia Tech. Last year, Georgia Tech won. Florida at Texas. This one kind of lost some of its firepower. So we're going to go over a few of those games and get you guys ready for the college weekend. We just got you ready for Thursday night football. You're pumped up. I'm pumped up. Oklahoma versus Missouri. This is a rivalry game back from the Big 12 days, back when both of them were in the Big 12 before Missouri moved on to the SEC. Now both are part of the SEC, so first time that they are both in the SEC facing off against each other, renewing that rivalry. This is one of the good rivalries in the Midwest. Oklahoma has had an up and down year, their first year in the SEC. Oklahoma is 5-4 and struggling to find their identity. They don't know if they want to run the ball. They don't know if they want to be a pass heavy team. They're really struggling to find their identity. Their leading rusher, Javonte Barnes, with 122 carries for 577 yards and only 5 touchdowns. Meanwhile, their leading receiver has 13 catches, 265 yards, and 1 touchdown. So they're not getting a lot of productivity from their players. The players aren't doing much. They're not scoring many points. OU beat a no-name. They beat like Maine last week, okay? They beat a no-name school. after losing 3 straight by 10 plus points. They lost 3 straight by 10 plus. Oof. That's rough. That's rough. Missouri has had their own struggles this year, going 3-2 in their last 5 games, including losing 34-0 at Bama last week. Or 2 weeks ago. Sorry, 2 weeks ago. Losing to Bama 2 weeks ago, 34-0. Brady Cook has been injured for some of the season. Hopefully this is a good game, guys. Hopefully, Brady Cook's healthy. Hopefully that OU offense and defense shows up. And hopefully we get a good, old time Oklahoma Missouri rival game. I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna spoil my pick yet. I'm not gonna spoil those picks. South Carolina versus Vandy, guys. South Carolina versus Vanderbilt. Oh my goodness. This matchup with teams in the middle of the pack in the SEC. I feel like this is a pretty even matchup on paper. South Carolina is scoring 30.5 points a game, and Vandy scoring 30.3. So the scoring is almost identical, guys. Let's see. Total yards a game. South Carolina has 369.8 to Vandy's 337.7. Passing, they're pretty even. 193.3 for South Carolina to 189.6 to Vanderbilt. So, here's where it gets, here's where South Carolina has a slight edge. Rushing, they have 176.5 to Vandy's 148.1. South Carolina has Rocket Sanders, Raheem Sanders that came over from Arkansas. They have Lenore Sellers, their QB, who is a mobile quarterback. So they kind of have, a tandem, and Rocket Sanders, he's a big back, but he doesn't get enough. He earned the nickname Rocket because when he hits the hole, he's gone. So that's where South Carolina has a slight edge, is in that run game. In this matchup, it seems like it will come down to which team has the better game defensively. It could also come down to which team runs the ball better, who has the last possession. That, in college football, that matters sometimes. You can get outgained, but if you have that last possession, you could really control the game. I look for South Carolina to run this ball. I look for them to get Rocket Sanders involved early, maybe set up a little play action. Don't forget they got a stud sophomore wide receiver, Nick Harbor, who is kind of been compared to DK Metcalf. So I really kind of hope he just finds his footing in this offense and gets going, because I would love to see what he can do. But South Carolina has a slight edge in the run game. But other than that, it's a pretty even matchup. And I think they're both 6-3 on the season, I believe. I do believe that they are 6-3. So, scoring almost identically. The yards are pretty similar, except for the running, where South Carolina has that slight edge. So let's see here. I couldn't find the game. I was looking for what time the game is on. Looking for the game. Oh, it is a afternoon game. And Vandy is 6-3. South Carolina is 5-3. So they both have 3 losses. Pretty even matchup. It's an afternoon game. Hey, I'm excited for this. Because sometimes the early slate gets all the games, or sometimes the prime time gets all the games. I know this one isn't like a superstar matchup, but this one could be interesting just because they match up well. So they match up well, and I like it. Florida and Texas is going to be our next game, guys. Whew. Did this one ever have the makings of a great game until Graham Mertz got hurt? DJ Lagway got hurt. Texas is scoring 39.1 points a game to Florida's 29.5. 42 total touchdowns for Texas to Florida's 30. Passing 294.8 to 244.8. Rushing, they're pretty even. Florida and Texas are pretty even. Florida is 145.4 to, and Texas has 158.4. Total yards though, I mean, because of the passing. Texas is 453.1 to Florida's 390.1. If DJ Lagway was starting, if Graham Mertz was starting, I would like this game a lot more. I think it would be a lot closer. Last week, Florida was really taking it to Georgia until DJ Lagway got hurt. So I would really like it. Maybe if they get Florida established that run game early and often, maybe that gives them a chance. But I don't feel like they have much of a chance, guys. I mean, if I'm just being real, they don't have much of a chance here. They're on their third string quarterback. I look for Texas to bring the pressure. Look for them to bring the pressure. Now, on the flip side, if by chance Florida's defense will be the deciding factor in this, if they can get pressure on Quinn Ewers, make him kind of make some mistakes, throw some incomplete passes, that really could set them up a little bit better. But this offense might struggle, and I don't know what the line is, but I can't imagine that it's going to be great. It's probably a primetime game too at that. Well, yeah, I don't know what the line is, guys, but I don't know. Third string quarterback at Texas, it's not looking good for Florida. If DJ Lagway played, I would definitely like their chances a lot better in this one, but unfortunately, he's not playing. So, okay. Those are the games that I have wrote down. The BYU Utah game is going to be good. Battle of Utah. Utah is without Cam Rising though, so that may hurt them. Before we get into some of these picks, Chris Olave is seeking a specialist. Saints wide receiver Chris Olave will consult specialists to determine his NFL future following his latest concussion. He has suffered 5 known concussions in his last 5 football seasons, so he's averaging 1 known concussion per season. So he's gonna seek out specialists, and he's gonna really kind of evaluate, like, should he hang up the cleats or can he keep going? I know he talked about possibly start wearing a Guardian cap. So maybe that's the route that he goes. Like, he says, "Hey, I still want to play, but I'm going to wear a Guardian cap." And hey, if he does that, I'm all for it. He's a superstar athlete. Real exciting on the football field. I hope that he turns out to be okay, and he's going to take the time, guys. He's not going to rush to the decision. He's not going to make it today, tomorrow. I mean, it could be a couple of weeks before we even know if Chris Olave is going to be back on the field. He is going to seek out specialists. So I hope that he's okay. I hope that he turns out to be decides that, hey, maybe a Guardian cap will help. If not, I wish him the best in whatever he pursues after the NFL. The Lions. We're gonna talk Lions real quick. Holy crap! The Lions were the only team in the NFL with both top 5 scoring offense and defense. The Detroit Lions they're the real deal this year, guys. They're the real deal. West Virginia head coach Dana Holgerson is joining the Nebraska staff as an offensive consultant. So West Virginia let him go. And, Nebraska's kind of been struggling on offense the last few weeks, especially in that game against Indiana. But they also didn't really put up a whole lot of points against the Rutgers a few weeks back. So I don't know, guys. That's we'll see. We'll have to see how he is doing. How he helps Nebraska. USC is making a QB change. USC is making a change at QB and will be starting Jaden Maya Ava. I don't know. Probably butchered that. If somebody has the correct pronunciation, please let me know. Over Miller Moss at QB this weekend versus Nebraska. So Nebraska gets a consultant and USC switches quarterbacks. This could be interesting. Could be interesting. I might have to write that one down. Yeah, we're gonna actually write that one down and go over that one. Do a little pick. So Iowa offensive lineman Jennings Dunker. Holy crap. Jennings Dunker has only given up 1 sack on 221 pass blocking snaps this season for Iowa. He's a big boy. He's a big boy. I'm just kind of going through some of my news here. Wow. We'll talk about that one later. Okay, so we have some college games to go over, guys, and I went over the ones that were really, like I wanted to talk about and kind of preview. Before we do that, tonight is Thursday Night Football. Ravens, Bengals in Baltimore. Some fantasy players, to talk about. Joe Burrow, Lamar, look for them to ball out tonight, guys. They balled out. They both balled out in their last meeting in Cincinnati. I look for them to ball out again this tonight. Zay Flowers. I'm not sure on him because I'm not sure how Dante Johnson's going to be involved. But if they decide that they want to start throwing the ball, maybe Zay Flowers has a game. I fully expect Derrick Henry to have a game. I mean, it's kind of hard to bet against the league leading rusher right now, Derrick Henry. All hail Mr. King Derrick Henry. On the flip side, Jamar Chase, obviously, I mean, he's a superstar. He's going to get his. Beyond that, guys, I don't know. Maybe the tight end, Mike Gesicki for the Bengals because no T. Higgins. Maybe he has a game. So, Mark Andrews, he's probably in that boomer bust category this week. Dante Johnson's probably in that boomer bust category this week. Chase Brown. Ooh, I don't know. Against that Ravens defense, run defense, I don't know if I like Chase Brown tonight. So, basically, definitely like Joe Burrow. Definitely like Lamar Jackson. Zay Flowers, probably. Jamar Chase is a given. I mean, nobody is ever benching Jamar Chase. I don't think anybody would ever bench Jamar Chase. Now, I will say, guys, when I first started doing dynasty leagues, I benched. I can't. I think it was like Keenan Allen or D Hop or somebody had a real bad matchup, and I was like, hey, I'm going to bench this guy because I do not like this matchup at all. And everybody was like, oh, you're crazy. You can't bench your stars. And I'm like, oh, watch me. And I ended up getting the win, guys. I ended up getting the win. Luck was on my side that week. Nowadays, I don't think many people are benching their studs, not benching the stars. So Not too many people are probably going to want to bench Jamar Chase. And, I mean, he's got a favorable matchup. Ravens secondary has kind of been bad. Don't know the involvement with Tre'Davious White yet, so. But yeah, that's a little fantasy segment on a Thursday for you guys. Just the Thursday night players. So nothing to get real too crazy about. All right, guys, let's run through some of these college games. I think I got like, I don't know, somewhere around the 16, 17 games, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 8, 19. I got 19 games, guys. So, first up, we'll just go ahead and get it out of the way. Florida at Texas. I like Texas here. No DJ Lagway, third string quarterback on the road at Texas. Texas is a really loud environment. They're going to be looking to avenge that loss that they suffered, earlier in the season when Georgia came in and pushed them around. So I'm going with Texas on this one. Miami at Georgia. Oh, wait a minute. Before, I'll go ahead and do Miami at Georgia Tech, but I didn't do the Georgia Ole Miss. I didn't do Georgia Ole Miss. Miami at Georgia Tech. Miami at Georgia Tech. Oh. It's kind of real hard to go against Cam Ward right now. That Miami offense is clicking on all cylinders. I think Miami needs to forget about what happened last year. They fumbled, and Georgia Tech beat them by a field goal. So that is going to be real key for them, is to forget about what happened. I like Miami on the road here. I think it's going to be closer than what a lot of people expect. I don't know, guys. This actually has all the makings of an upset. Because Miami, as good as they have been, I mean, they're one, like the call versus Virginia Tech. I mean, that one got reversed. And, so he was out of bounds, inbounds. You know, they've struggled. They've struggled. They've struggled against some of these other teams. And they've been in a lot closer games than what they should have been. I think Louisville, Louisville beat Clemson, but Louisville, it went down to the wire. Duke was hanging with them until the fourth quarter. I don't know what happened to Duke. All of a sudden, like, Duke just couldn't keep up last week, but Duke, in the fourth quarter was only down by 1 point. Duke led by most. So, this could be a game where, Georgia Tech comes in, protects the ball. We could be talking about an upset on Monday. We could be talking about an upset. I don't predict it, though. I think Miami's going to come in, handle business. Georgia, Ole Miss. Go ahead and talk about this game. I didn't even talk about this game. I forgot about this game. Somehow, I overlooked this game, and I don't know how. Georgia versus Ole Miss, another big SEC matchup. Ole Miss needs to win out if they want to make the playoffs. If they can get a win here, that would give them a strong case that they deserve to be there. Ole Miss is the home team and will need the crowd to get loud. Get loud. Get that home crowd loud. And make it tough for Carson Beck. Carson Beck struggles when he gets rattled a little bit. Carson Beck struggles. I know Kirby's had to kind of calm him down quite a bit this season. Ole Miss is 3-2 in their last 5 games, losing to Kentucky and at LSU in overtime. So Georgia comes into this game on a 4-game winning streak after losing at Bama, which they were getting blown out. I don't even know how they made it a game, but they did. Carson Beck has been making some bad decisions throwing the ball. It appears he doesn't read defenses pre-snap. I don't know if it's he doesn't read them pre-snap, he doesn't read them post-snap, or what, but he comes in and he's got like 11 interceptions. He's got back-to-back games with 3 interceptions. So He's been turning the ball over a lot here lately. My take is he locks on one receiver and doesn't go through the progressions. That is how a lot of, especially college quarterbacks, they go, and they're throwing to where they're looking. I'm looking, I'm throwing, and those safeties, them linebackers, they're just gonna follow the eyes, and Georgia will need to find a way to slow down the Ole Miss offense, which is no easy task. Ole Miss put up the numbers last week, and if you remember earlier this week in the call out segment, Jackson Dart and Jordan Watkins, but look for Trey Harris to get involved. Jackson Dart has been lights out. He has Jordan Watkins and Trey Harris. Henry Parrish Jr. has 10 rushing touchdowns, so they might want to get him going early. Get that run game. Keep that Georgia offense off the field. Don't make turnovers. Oh man, I wish I could pick Ole Miss. I want to pick Ole Miss in this one. My everything in me is telling me to go ahead and do something crazy and pick Ole Miss, but man, it's Kirby Smart. That Georgia defense. I'm going Georgia in this one, guys. I'm going to go Georgia in this one. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm picking Georgia, but I really want Ole Miss to win this one. After watching them last week, I want to see what they can do in the playoffs. I want to see what they can do in the playoffs. And get it. Just tear it up because I assume that they would probably be matched up against Indiana, Tennessee, Notre Dame in the first round. I'm for it, guys. I am for it. I am going to stick with Georgia, though. I hope I'm wrong. This is one call I hope I get bad. I hope I make a bad call on this one, guys. I really do. Nothing against Georgia. Georgia fans, it's nothing against you. I tend to be a person that roots for change and different winners every year. That's why I'm on board with Indiana. That's why, Miami hasn't been great in a long time. That's why I'm on board, with Army succeeding right now. It's why I'm on board with, Minnesota having those good games. I'm all about, I like Colorado this year. I think they're fun to watch. They're exciting. So I'm a big fan of. I want to see teams that hasn't been there. I want to see it get mixed up. I don't want the same old Georgia, Bama, Clemson, Georgia. I don't want the same teams. Ohio State, Penn. I'm tired of the same teams. So Ole Miss, man, just rally, find a way to beat them Bulldogs. Find a way to beat them Bulldogs. Next up, we have Michigan at Indiana, guys. Kurt Signetti. Yeah, Kurt Signetti. Oh my goodness. He has the it factor. He has that certain amount of swag to him, okay? But you don't know this because he's just what he's doing, he's building a culture in Indiana. And he went 10, 11, 12 and 0 at James Madison last year. He's already off to a great start at Indiana, 9 and 0. This is a home game for Indiana. If you look back and watch Indiana in week 1, week 2, some of the stadium was a little empty. And now you go to Indiana, you better already have them tickets ordered because you're probably not getting them. That stadium is jam packed. Look for Indiana has literally, I think, won by like double digits in every game this year. They're favored by 14. Last time I checked, I haven't checked today. I like Indiana in this one, guys. It's nothing against Michigan. They're not the same team that won that national championship with Jim Harbaugh last year. You know, we've been saying it all year. Michigan got pushed around last week in their stadium. I know they're going to try to have a little redemption here, but I'm sorry. I've until I see Kirk Cignetti and the Indiana team lose, I'm not betting against them. I'm not. Uh, and I can't wait to see what they do in the playoffs. So give me Indiana at home versus Michigan, guys. Well, we go from one swag coach to an even more swag coach, Coach Prime Time, and his boys, Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh Sanders, and the Colorado Buffaloes with Travis Hunter taking on Texas Tech. Oh, and we talked about this on yesterday's show, guys. You know, this is a good Big 12 matchup, and we don't talk a lot about the Big 12. You know, a lot of the games that we cover and talk about are SEC or Big 10. But this is a good Big 12 matchup that I'm excited for, guys. Colorado at Texas Tech. Texas Tech just beat Iowa at Iowa State. Or just beat Iowa State at Iowa State. Colorado's got that swag. You know, they got Shedeur Sanders. They've got Travis Hunter, offense and defense. This is a good one. This is a good one. I think Colorado right now is the better team. You know, I know Texas Tech got that big win last week, but really, I kind of feel like Iowa State kind of beat themselves last week versus Texas Tech beating them. So I like Colorado in this one, guys. I like Colorado in this one. I think Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter is going to be a little too much for them. Now I will say, Colorado does not run the ball very well, and we talked about that yesterday. You know, I think they've got like somewhere they average 80.6 yards a game rushing. So that could, you know, be what Texas Tech needs. They do like to run the ball. But I am sticking with Colorado. I'm going Colorado. Coach Prime Time has brought a winning culture. You know, he's made Colorado exciting again. And so you know, and who knows, maybe after this season, once his boys go to the NFL, you know, Travis Hunter, it isn't his son, but basically should be. Shedeur Sanders, Shiloh Sanders. I think once they go to the NFL, maybe he gets a job somewhere else. I don't know. I would like to see him coach. Oh, I don't know. Maybe Florida State. Maybe coach Maryland. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where he would end up, but I'm sure there would be lots of job opportunities for him. But yeah, I like Colorado in this one. Can't bet against Prime Time. Can't bet against him. Not right now. His team is on fire. Next up we got Cal and Wake Forest, a little ACC matchup. Both teams have been struggling. I'm just gonna go and pick Cal. They have that running back, and I look for Cal to run the ball and control that clock. I think this one I put on there because like the line was like 1 to 3 point difference. So Florida State versus Notre Dame. And the only reason that this is on there is because of the opening line. The opening line is Notre Dame favored by 25 points. Notre Dame favored by 25. That is bad. That is crazy. Real quick, Florida State 1-8 record. Worst 9-game start by AP preseason top 10 team in college football history. Tied with Illinois in 1954. The worst in history, guys. They were ranked 10th in the preseason. I like Notre Dame here. Yeah, if you're picking Florida State, you might not know football. Okay, you might just not know football, or you're a true diehard Florida State fan. But I mean, please, even if you're a Florida State fan this season, have some common sense. Notre Dame at Notre Dame, like Notre Dame. America likes Notre Dame. I mean, they were favored by 25 to start. I don't know what that line is now, but you know, when somebody is favored by 25 to start, like that is absolutely crazy. That is absolutely crazy to me. It has actually gone up to 26.5. Notre Dame has already gained a point and a half since the original. Next up, Purdue at Ohio State. Not much here. Ohio State's a better team. Purdue. I know you. I know you like having magic at beating teams in the top 5, but this isn't going to be a week. History will not be on your side. It's at Ohio State. They just got that big win from Penn State. So I like Ohio State, and not even close. Next up is a Big Ten matchup that actually could be a good game. Minnesota versus Rutgers. You know, Rutgers were off to a hot start, guys. Won 4 straight, and now they've been on a losing streak lately, and I'm not sure what has happened with them. Maybe now they're just finally playing some good teams. Maybe they're playing some good teams. I don't know. Minnesota's kind of been on a good streak here lately, you know. And honestly, they probably should have beat Michigan earlier in the season. That on the onside kick, they got called offsides, which the guy was behind the line, behind the kicker. I don't know how he got called offsides, but he did. So, but I like Minnesota in this one, guys. I like Minnesota. The Golden Gophers. I don't know. It's a fun name. It's a fun team name. And I'm picking the Minnesota Golden Gophers over the Rutgers. So next up is Syracuse taking on Boston College. Syracuse has been good. They've had a few losses on the season. Boston College has been better than most. I mean, they beat Florida State in week 0 over in Dublin, Ireland. So, and then they were kind of, but since then they've had the ups and downs. But I like Syracuse in this one. I think Kyle McCord, former Ohio State quarterback, transferred there. I think he's going to play the right chords. He's going to string the chords along and, get the Syracuse a win at Boston College. Oh, if this isn't one of the most feel-good stories in college football, I don't know what is. Army is ranked. Army got ranked in the college football rankings for the first time ever. Oh my, guys. It's Army versus North Texas. I know the matchup isn't, stellar, but Army's undefeated. And I've got to go Army. I mean, until they prove that a team can beat them. Now, next week might be that game because Army takes on Notre Dame. But right now, I'm going Army. I'm going Army. I like what Army's doing this year. Like I said, they're ranked in the college playoff rankings for the first time ever. I mean, they're ranked 25th, but hey, Army's doing something. I can't believe that this one didn't get talked about. I can't believe I didn't preview this one because this one's actually a good one. Clemson at Virginia Tech, big ACC matchup. Clemson just lost to Louisville last week, at home in a night game. But Virginia Tech also lost last week, in a game that they shouldn't have lost. I'm going Clemson here. I just feel you can't keep Clemson down for very long, and Dabo Swinney is one of the best coaches in college football, and I know it's a home game for Virginia Tech, but Clemson, South Carolina isn't very far from there. Not a big travel. I like Clemson on the road, so Clemson bounces back after getting beat by Louisville last week, and yeah, I'm going to stick with Clemson here, guys. You want to stick with Clemson? Well, we got the Battle of Cinderellas, South Carolina and Vanderbilt. We talked about this. We did a little preview. Vandy, you've had a great season. I'm impressed. Diego Pavia, you've came in and shown that, hey, Vanderbilt football is no joke. Not something to take lightly nowadays. And SEC teams are going to start having a new respect for Vandy. But not this week. Not this week, guys. South Carolina, on the road. Hey. Rocket Sanders. Look for Rocket Sanders to have a game. I'm looking for him to have 150 plus. So, I like South Carolina here. Maryland at Oregon. This was basically... can't talk about, can't pick games without picking the number one team in the nation. Wouldn't be right. Maryland, I'm sorry. You're a decent team, but you don't stand a snowball's chance of winning this game. I mean, I think the only way that you might win this game is if you inserted a rule that Dylan Gabriel has to throw right-handed. He's a left-handed quarterback. I think that's the only way is you. In fact, you go ahead and make him throw right-handed, tying his left hand behind his back so he has to catch and throw right-handed. You might stand a chance, but probably not. It's at Oregon. It's in Eugene. Good old Eugene, Oregon. The Ducks all the way on this one. Quack, quack. Because I look for Oregon to probably beat them by at least 3 touchdowns. At least. Next up is Washington at Penn State. Penn State, you guys got to be careful here. Penn State, I know this is a home game. Luckily for you, it's not a versus a top 5 because James Franklin versus top 5 is bad, is really bad. But Washington is kind of an up and down team. Washington is an up and down team, and I'm not saying that they are going to win, but Penn State, you're going to have to protect your home turf this week because Washington could come in and you could be on upset alert real quick, but I am taking Penn State with this, guys. I do think that Drew Aller and, James Franklin, the head coach, I think they bounce back. It's a home game. Washington has to go cross-country for this. Washington all the way to Pennsylvania. So, doesn't favor Washington very well, crossing, 2-3 time zones. So go ahead and give me Penn State. In this next one, USC and Nebraska, it was kind of a throw-in because, when we were going over some of the news that was happening, I was like, oh, well, USC's got a new quarterback. They benched Miller Moss. It's on the road in Nebraska. First time Big Ten matchup. I like USC in this one. Maybe this new quarterback is going to be exactly what they need to get going. And, obviously Nebraska doesn't have any tape on this kid. So maybe USC sneaks out with this one, guys. I'm taking USC in this one. Definitely taking USC in this one. All right. We got Oklahoma and Missouri. Big rival game. I think Missouri, especially if Brady Cook is healthy, I like Missouri at home. I mean, it's not much of a travel, Oklahoma to Missouri, but Missouri, they're used to being in the SEC. They're used to going against some big dogs. Oklahoma, that's your welcome in party. Missouri's going to go ahead and give you another loss. I'm sorry, but I think Missouri's offense is too much for Oklahoma. All right, we got 2 games left, guys. We got 2 games left. We got BYU at Utah. They're not traveling very far. It's the in-state rival game. Big 12 matchup. BYU's undefeated. BYU's undefeated. Utah doesn't have Cam Rising. Give me BYU. Yeah, if Cam Rising was in this game, maybe this goes Utah. I just really think that BYU right now, they're on a mission. But they also could be on upset alert. I will say that. They could easily be on upset alert. But I like BYU. I think you know, with no Cam Rising, I think the Utah's offense isn't as good. But all right, guys. Well, you know how we do it around here. We save the best for last. The biggest matchup. In this corner, we have Alabama Crimson Tide. In this corner, we have LSU Tigers. Big heavyweight showdown. SEC playoff on the line. It's a night game in LSU. You can't bet against Brian Kelly at home in a night game. He's 13-0 in night games at home. I like LSU here, guys. I think after Georgia coming in, or not Georgia, but Texas A&M coming in and pushing them around a little bit 2 weeks ago, I think LSU is gonna be like, hey, we deserve to be in the college playoffs. Give me LSU at home in a night game, prime time. Bama. Now I will say, the loser of this game, you're done. You're out. You will not make the playoffs. So LSU, Bama, you better be bringing it. I want to see a heavyweight showdown like no other. I hope it's a good game. I hope it's like a field goal or less game, honestly. I just want a good football game in this matchup. So, but LSU has a slight edge for me. I'm sure a lot of you guys will agree with me on that. LSU at home. So tomorrow we will be going over the NFL games, kind of doing a little Thursday night recap. You guys don't want to miss it. If you've enjoyed the content, please drop a follow, tap on the bell to make sure you don't ever miss a notification or an episode. You can also follow on Spotify. Answer the Call in the podcast section of Spotify, COLL. Follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/answerthecall. I'm Timmy, and I'll see you guys next time.